All right. Canelo Alvarez is saying that according to the WBO president, that Canelo Alvarez wants to stay at 175 pounds. Great. Now give up the belts and let people do something at 160 pounds because this nonsense is ridiculous. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. If you are not subscribed, please join the subscribers. Hit the bell icon, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And also, again, thank you very much to the two special communities on the channel, the Patreon community and also the live stream community where we do videos, where we have live streams every Monday through Friday. And also our weekending show, OG Boxing Talk, on Sunday with my executive producer, Blood Boxing, KQKC Boxing, Curtis Anderson, and Trap House Boxing. I hope to see you guys there on Sunday. We usually have really good shows. Now, Canelo, oh cinnamon. The WBO president says that now that he's at 175 pounds, he's the WBO champion. He beat Sergey Kovalev by knockout in the 11th round in a fight that took all night long to start. But he's the WBO champion at 175. Now he holds belts at both 160 and 175. Two of the traditional weight classes, which is an accomplishment for sure. He does not, however, hold a legitimate belt at 168, so please stop with the 3-weight division champion nonsense. That's the WBA, that's the WBA regular title. He's not the champion. The champion is Callum Smith. Regardless, 160-pound championship, 175-pound championship. Awesome. Now, pick a division and fight there and defend your belt. And this is why I think that is important. People talk a lot about there being you holding belts in multiple divisions. I think that statement is missing something. Defending your belts is as important as obtaining them. Case in point, Mikey Garcia. When Mikey Garcia beat Dejan Zadaklanin, I know I'm killing his name. After he made his comeback, he's out a couple years, left top rank, came back to boxing. Think he might have had a fight or two, maybe 1 or 2 fights at lightweight. He had moved up from 130, 126, 2-year layoff, or 130, 2-year layoff, comes back at 135, wins the belt off Dejan Zadaklanin. Okay, quiz, and I'm going to answer the question to this quiz right away. After that, how many more belts, how many times did Mikey Garcia defend his 135-pound championship? The answer is once. Once in 2 years, because he went from 135, beating Zadaklanin. Then he fought a catchweight fight at 140 where his belt wasn't on the line, or 142, something like that, against Adrian Bronner. After that, I do believe he moved to 140 and he won the IBF championship at 140 against Sergey Lipinets, who's now up at 147. So that win is looking even better now for Mikey Garcia. Then for one fight, he made a reappearance at 135 to fight Robert Easter Jr. And then after that, he was at 147. That is, at the time that he was the 135-pound champion, 3 of his next 4 fights were outside of that weight class, all the while, with the exception maybe of the Errol Spence Jr. fight, he held, or slightly before the Errol Spence Jr. fight, he held the IBF, the 135 IBF pound championship. So while we're looking at how many titles he won, if you look at how many times he defended that title, it was exactly 1 time. And that, quite honestly, was for the IBF, a unification fight for the IBF belt as well. So after he won the IBF, 135 pound championship. He never defended it. So there are things about, like, one of the statistics in the middle of all this media hoopla about people winning belts is, hey man, you won the fight. You won a fight. Did you ever defend it? How long did you reign as a champion? Okay. Now there was an article that was written. It was actually out of the Ukraine. And it was said that Vasily Lomachenko is the longest reigning champion in boxing. And I chuckled to myself and say, really? He's the longest reigning champion in boxing? How's that? He won a belt at 126 in 2014. I think he might have defended it once or twice. Then he moved to 130. His championship reign was over at 126. Then he moves to 130. His championship reign ended at 130 when he moved to 135. You don't reign as a champion when you switch between championships. Each one of those championships are distinct championships. You are the champion of 135. You are the champion of 140. But you, in order to be a great fighter, in my opinion, now here we're in the land of my opinion, you have to actually defend your title at that weight class to be the dominant fighter at the weight class and do it time in and time out. Case in point, Bernard Hopkins. Bernard Hopkins is one of the best, most successful 160-pound middleweight champions ever because he defended it again and again and again and again and again to the tune of 22 times. He defended it. Now, Gennady Golovkin had a good reign at 160-pound champion as well, a long one, that being about 9. Now, they tried to give him 22, right? But it really wasn't 22. It was 9 because part of it was the WBA regular championship. And then he became the WBA super champion, but he reigned as a middleweight champion. You do not reign over a division if you're not fighting in it. And that's why that's back to Canelo Alvarez. If what people are saying is that Canelo Alvarez is going to be like Henry Armstrong, then be like Henry Armstrong. When Henry Armstrong didn't just win those belts, the featherweight, the lightweight, and the welterweight title, he didn't just win all those, he defended them. He moved up and down. He was at one weight class and he moved back down to another and defended it, and then moved up and defended it. He fought 13 times in 1938. He wasn't fighting in 13 different weight classes. So consequently, while holding these belts, he was not only just holding them, he was defending them. He was actively being a champion. So if Canelo Alvarez is going to be at 175, cool. Be at 175 and defend the belts. If you're going to be at 160, be at 160 and defend the belts. There's more to being a champion than just winning it. You actually have to defend it. And you should, despite what the thought processes are of the WBC president, much respect, and Bob Arum, respect, not quite as much, but respect to Bob Arum. Champions should have to fight mandatories because mandatories theoretically have earned the right to fight for a championship. The champion does not own that championship. When this franchise thing came about for Canelo Alvarez and for Vasily Lomachenko, it becomes something that the champion owns because only he can have it, and he can't lose it to somebody in the ring. I mean, he can't lose it and the other person can't lose it for him. It goes back to the WBC, and then this fighter winds up he can become emeritus or something. But look, I think it's just as important to defend championships as it is to win them. And this hopscotch between weight divisions is not, from my perspective, being accompanied by actual title defenses. So if Canelo Alvarez wants to stay at 175, cool. Bivol wants to fight Canelo Alvarez at 175 pounds, I'm sure. Beterbiev, Arthur Beterbiev wants to fight him at 175 pounds as well. I'm quite sure that Billy Joe Saunders says, hey, maybe he'll move up to 175. Now there'll be a flood of people, from 168 moving up to 175. That's all fine and dandy. If Canelo Alvarez is going to fight one of them, if Canelo Alvarez is just going to hold, if the WBO is now going to call him the WBO silver base, create some new super category for him where he never has to defend the belt, then all he did at 175 is beat Sergey Kovalev. You can consider that a great feat, but that's all he did. As far as 160 for the middleweight title, for the WBC title he held at 160, he never defended it. He never defended it. He gave it up as soon as he got it, unless I think he moved up to Rocky Field. Oh, no. He did the WB. I think he might have defended the WBA belt when he fought Daniel Jacobs. So there was a defense of the WBA belt. I don't know if he defended the WBC belt. I'd have to look back if he dropped it or not. But if he did, that's one defense of that. It's one defense of that belt, because then he went up to 168 and got that belt. And anyway, you get my point. If Canelo Alvarez is going to stay at 175, defend the belt, prove that you're the best at 175, because that has not happened to date. Quite honestly, he didn't prove that he was the best at 160 pounds either, because he wouldn't fight as mandatory. That's my viewpoint on it. You can let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.